Hello, everyone. I'm your host, Lee Dahill. We've got Kirsty on the show today. Kirsty, before we do anything useful, I always ask my guests to do an introduction about them because I'm never going to be able to do it as good as you are. So, Kirsty, if you don't mind, give us an introduction, who you are, what you've been up to, and then we can get into some of the questions I've got lined up for us.
Sure. Well, hi, Lee. Thank you for inviting me on the pod. I appreciate
No
it.
problem.
I am Kirsty Franks. So I own Frank Marketing Agency. So we are a dedicated marketing agency for the property sector. So we look after estate and letting agents and suppliers to the industry. I'm also a fractional CMO, Chief Marketing Officer. Sounds fancy, doesn't it?
It does.
I'm the fractional CMO for the Property Franchise Group.
Wicked. Kirsty, again, thank you so much for coming on the show. We've got stuff, funnily enough, about marketing. So how did you first get into marketing for the property sector?
So I've been in marketing 20 odd years. Yeah, let's do the you don't look old enough comments. Yeah. And in a whole host of sectors. And I kind of started right at the bottom of the ladder in marketing assistant roles and kind of worked my way up into board level roles. And I kind of found a niche for myself in businesses that were going through a period of significant change and particularly going through private equity investment. So I went through a few board roles where I got them ready for investment or was brought in at the point of investment. And that was when I got a phone call from Lomond. And I joined their board at the moment that they were doing the merger with Linley and Simpson, the LDC backed merger, and took them through the kind of change process of that, setting up the marketing team, the marketing strategy, supporting all of their different brands under their umbrella. So that was actually my first foray into property. And I got the bug straight away, but it had always been my dream to set up my own agency. I just kind of put it off a bit, thinking it's a big jump, right? Going self-employed and going on your own for the first time. But finally made that jump 4 years ago. I set up Frank Marketing. And yeah, I guess the rest is history.
It is. I remember speaking to you back in the times before that you set it up, and then obviously we've been speaking ever since. But it was good. So look, you spent, as you said, 2 decades in marketing. What's kept you hooked, and especially working with estate agents and letting agents?
I'm not sure I can do anything else at this point. So, that keeps me hooked. Marketing is what I love and breathe. Do you know the thing that really struck me with estate agency and why I decided to focus on the sector? And actually, as a sector, we don't really like newcomers all that much, but I have been welcomed with open arms, so I appreciate that. But for me, it's all about how do you stand out from the competition? And there are very few sectors where you have to stand out quite as much as you do within the estate and letting agency. We're all vying for the same customers, and there might be 7 or 8 different estate agents on your high street alone, never mind all the personal agents online, etc. So for me, I saw a real opportunity, and there's some pretty crap marketing going on within the sector, right? I'm not calling anybody out, but I think, marketeers should be marketeers and estate agents should be estate agents. So I saw an opportunity to be able to come in and help agents really differentiate themselves, really push their brand forward and really improve their lead generation activities. And yeah, fell in love with the sector and everything that comes with it.
Good. And I suppose it leads me nicely onto my next sort of set of questions, which is around what are the biggest marketing missteps estate agents tend to make that you see?
Yeah, I think the first key thing for me is there's a lot of agents out there who, they're wanting to grow market share, they're wanting to increase their lead generation. And their approach is, let's just do some marketing, without really kind of taking a step back and creating a marketing strategy. So really thinking about where they are now, where they're trying to get to, who they are, and I mean really who they are. Everybody's out there talking about great customer service and, their pie charts about best in the area, or we offer free valuations. Everyone's saying it. That doesn't differentiate you. You've really got to think about what it is that makes you and your business unique. What's happening in the local market? Who are your customers and your target properties? Because if you just put out a vanilla message that's to all people without really resonating with your audience, you're going to be disappointed with the results. But also then there's marketing happening without any kind of strategic plan behind it. So using one or two channels, but not really setting objectives around it, not measuring it. So for me, it all starts with the planning phase, and it's what I see most agents miss time and time and time again. They just think, oh, let's just turn on some Facebook ads and hope that that delivers the results, without really thinking through that whole piece of what are we actually trying to achieve here? What are we going to do? And let's have a real detailed plan and KPIs to be able to deliver it. And it's hard, right? We're all busy running agencies. You don't necessarily have people within the business who can think strategically from a marketing perspective. But if I was going to suggest that any agent invest in any area, it's that thinking and planning piece up front. Otherwise, you're just taking a very scattergun approach and will get very scattergun results.
Are there any specific errors that you see that are made in sort of like the digital channels, whether it's the website, the social, emails, that hold agents back?
I think one of the key areas is, so let's say that we've got an agent that's focused on digital marketing, right?
Yep.
And they'll say, we're just going to turn on some Google ads and hope that that then delivers us some valuation leads. Well, have we really thought about who we're talking to and what the messaging is? Because the messaging is going to play a huge role in that. If we do then generate some leads from that, are we taking them to a dedicated area on the website with a dedicated landing page that's giving them the information that relates to the advert that they've clicked on? Otherwise, if you just send it into a homepage, do not waste your money. That is not going to deliver leads for you. Then once we've got a lead, what are we doing to nurture them? Have we got them in a nurture journey? Have we got them? Are we marketing to them through email marketing through our database? So I think from all marketing, specifically around digital, one channel in isolation is not going to deliver the results. You've got to think about the whole journey of the activity that you're trying to do. Then we think about the website as well. I see so many websites of agents that are talking about themselves. We do this, we do that, we offer the other, sales, lettings, financial services. We've got a great team, we're the best in the area. There's a time and a place for all that messaging, don't get me wrong, but the messaging should lead with what your customers care about. What are their challenges? This is the biggest asset they're ever going to sell. This is personal. So they need to really feel like you're talking to them in a way that resonates. So your messaging needs to be looked at through the eyes of your customer. But also, once you've got them onto a website, how easy is it for them to get in touch with you? Have you got out of hours? Have you got live chat so that you can look after customers when you're all not sat in the branch and working, or you're out on valuations? Have you got a way to easily book a valuation? Have you got tools on there that make it so easy? You think about Amazon, right? How much money do we all spend with Amazon? Because they make it so easy for us to buy from them. And we can learn a lot of lessons from that, because we need to be putting the right message in front of the right people in the right way and make it easy to convert them. So I'd say from your digital marketing channels, take a step back and look at what you're doing. Get some of your customers to look at what you're doing and really think about that journey that you're taking them on. Because if you don't do that, you'd be paying money and spending time and effort on lead generation that's just going to fall out of the bottom of a leaky bucket.
Some fantastic advice there. In your work, do you see a channel that consistently performs best?
Well, there's different channels for different parts of the pipeline, right? So if we think about a funnel, it's such an awful marketing thing to say. Let's think about the lead generation funnel. But we've got to think about how we're going to get new leads, like new clients, new prospects into the top of that funnel. And for me, it's about really mixing digital and traditional. So pay-per-click, Google ads still work. Facebook ads still work. But also print prospecting absolutely still works. But
Yep.
not if you just take the very generic AI generated postcard and send it out without any thought or process to, the old 2020 style approach. It's about making sure that you have really great branding, really great messaging, and think about who you're putting that in front of, on market, off market prospecting. So for me, top of funnel stuff is really about, let's do great content out there. Let's pay for paid ads across Google and Meta. Let's do the print prospecting. Let's be in our local community. Let's go out, do events. Let's talk to people. Let's be seen, that real blend of digital and traditional. Then when we've got these new leads in, what are we doing? How have we got a website that's performing really well to be able to convert a lead? What are we doing with our email marketing? So probably the highest performing marketing channel is email marketing. Your database is your gold mine. And I see so many agents who have left that gold mine untapped. So think about segmenting your audience so you put the right message in front of the right people. Don't just send the same generic stuff to your vendors and your landlords. Do newsletters, talk about the local market, be useful, insightful, do area guides, have that real rich content that people are going to want to open. Yes, they want to see properties. Yes, we can showcase what's on the market, but don't just flood their inboxes with here's the latest property that we've got to sell. But also setting up automated email triggers at different points along the customer journey and making that really personalized. To do that, your CRM needs to be in pucker condition. So whatever you're doing to train your team on how you're inputting data and leads, as much data as you put in, good out, crap in, crap out, right? So as long as your CRM is working as well as it should be, then setting up personalized email automation will be a game changer for you.
I like it. I like it. I want to ask you about data-driven campaigns. How do you see these compare with more established channels?
I think there's absolutely a place for everything. And I think, listen, we are flooded at the moment with prop tech companies who will tell you that they're going to utilize all available channels, utilize data to drive lead generation. And there's a lot out there that are doing some really, really great work on this. My point on this, though, is we come back to strategy again. So we absolutely should be using data to drive decision making and drive our marketing activities, but not in replace of traditional marketing. Both have a place. And I think if you are using prop tech to help with your lead generation, my advice is don't again do it without the thinking and the planning. So I would rather you really think about where's the problem that we've got? Is it lead generation? Is it conversion? Think that through, know your data, know where the problems are within the agency. If it's lead generation, then look at how you solve that problem, yes, with tech and with all the other marketing channels, but use 1 or 2 pieces of tech, not 4 or 5. Because what I see time and time again is agents that have been sold the dream from a particular piece of prop tech that's going to solve all the problems and the diaries are going to be full and we're going to convert all of them, everything's great, but this tech doesn't run itself. It still relies on you inputting information, inputting content, inputting processes, etc. And if that's not done well, it's easy to go, well, that didn't work, that was crap. But it's about making sure you've not got something sitting in the corner gathering dust because you're not giving it the time and effort it deserves because you've taken on too many pieces of data-led tech.
I like that answer. This question, I am looking forward to seeing what you say on it. So can you explain the difference between a company brand and a personal brand and why both matter for estate agents?
Yeah, so firstly, both absolutely matter. And actually,
100%.
100%, yeah. So, and I practice what I preach in this as well. So your company brand is, firstly, it is not a logo. That is a part of it. But if you think that we've just got a logo and above the door and we've got a tick in the box for brand, we're only a small, tiny step of the way there. So a brand is all about who you really are. what makes you different, how you stand out from the crowd, the service that you offer, ultimately how you make your customers feel at every point and every interaction that they have with you, online, in person, virtually, all of those things. You should have really clear brand guidelines that talk about all of those things that I've just said, the tone of voice that you use, the type of messaging you use. We would say this, we wouldn't say this. We would treat a customer like this, we wouldn't treat a customer like this. And everyone within your business should be trained on that to within an inch of their lives, so that they know that me as X agency, this is what we say, this is how we say it, this is what we do. And that is reflected across every single touch point in our agency. However, property is still personal, right? As I said before, this is the biggest asset that anyone's ever going to sell. And it's an emotional journey and an emotional sale or emotional purchase. So people still buy from people. So the real magic happens when you've got a really solid brand that you can stand in front of and you can stand by, and you know that everything that that brand says and does is absolutely on point and you believe in, but then make your people the hero as well. And this is personal brand. Bring your people to life and get them in front of camera, get them doing video, get them on social media. And what happens is when you've got a really strong brand and all your brand messaging is going out, and then you've got the individuals who are going to be going out meeting customers, they're going to be in the living room. If you let them behind the curtain of your people, and they don't just talk about the brand, they talk about, this is what's going on in the local market. Here's what I know about my local area. Here's the local coffee shops and the best schools. Oh, and also, do you know what? Here's a little bit about me as well. So I'm a human, not just a robot that only talks about property. The minute that you go out to that valuation, to that market appraisal, that door is already open, because they already know you, they already trust you, they already feel an affinity to you. So it makes a massive difference, not only with lead generation, but specifically around converting when you get in front of a customer. So I can't stress enough the importance of having a really clear, well-managed, fully guarded business brand. But dialing up the personal brand alongside that is absolutely something that's going to turn the dial.
Couldn't agree more. That's why I wanted to ask you the question on it. This one is more around tracking, which is, could you recommend a KPI that's effective that estate agents could use to see if their marketing is working?
I mean, obviously I track countless KPIs across the marketing that I do, but surely what we all need to be really tracking here is, how many valuation leads are we getting in? How many of those leads turned into a market appraisal? And how many of those leads turned into an instruction? If you don't know that, you cannot get a true understanding of your return on investment for your marketing spend. And I'll take that a step further back as well. When you think about your leads that are coming in, a valuation lead, a landlord lead, whatever that might be, do you really know the source of all those leads without having to rely on Sarah in the office inputting into the CRM that, oh yeah, that lead came from Google or that lead came from the website? Because that will absolutely not give you a true reflection of where your leads are coming from. So the first thing I would say is you have to have tracking on all of your marketing activity, including your print marketing, which you can do by putting unique QR codes, unique phone numbers onto your print marketing material, so you can track all of those leads. Then have a system that allows you to track that through to market appraisal and instruction. Some CRMs you can do that in, some you can't, and you'll have to use a system to do that. So am I allowed to plug? I don't know whether I should, but so
do it.
So I work with a Lead Pro system. Lead Pro is part of the Nurture group. It does exactly that. For the businesses that I work with, I know exactly where every single lead has come from, and I track that all the way through to instructions and pounds in the bank. And unless you know that, how do you know which of your marketing channels are working well? And therefore, let's do more of that. And how do you know which of your marketing channels aren't working as well? In which case, let's adjust it, let's tweak it, or let's stop doing it because it's not delivering for us. There's everything I do in marketing, I bang on about this all the time. Everything I do is all about making sure it's measured so we can track and understand what's working well. Of course, there is marketing activity that you do that isn't solely directly focused on lead generation. You know, what you do around PR, what you're doing around brand building, what you're doing around kind of local community events, to some extent, what you're doing around personal brand and social media. But there are still metrics where you can track all of that. You know, social media, you can track your engagement, you can track your followers. Every piece of activity you're doing, you should be understanding, why am I doing this in the first place? If I can't answer that question, am I wasting time on something that has no value? And if I do think it's valuable, what am I trying to achieve with it, and how am I going to measure if that was successful? It's not easily, and I think this is a big part of where agents fall down. But the good agents, the growth agents, the ones that are smashing it out of the park, are all over their data, because I'm a firm believer that you should be using data to make decisions on your marketing budget and your marketing activity, and stop relying on gut instinct. Oh, we did a Royal Mail door drop and the phone rang a little bit more, so we think that worked.
Yep, that's very, very good advice, and I like the fact of basing it on data, basing it on stuff that works, not just looking at it from the perspective, I think it did that. I like that. And Kirsty, I want to ask you about emerging trends in the property, in the property space. What are you most excited about now? Is it AI, video, personalization? What are you most excited about?
So AI, a lot of people talk to me about AI at the minute, and there's people in two camps. There are the people, actually it's probably three camps. There are the people that are so excited about it. This is game changing. Yep. This is going to revolutionize my business. I am all over it like a rash. I'm already thinking about the efficiencies I can improve in my branch. There's the people who are in denial. Like, yep. this is, I'm not making it high on my agenda. I think this is something that's going to come and go. They're wrong. Yep. And there's the people who are terrified by it. So I think we've got a long way to go to really understand the difference that AI is going to make in our sector, but let's not be under any illusions. It's going to make a huge difference. So I'm seeing a lot of emerging tech. I'm doing a lot of demos and meeting businesses at the minute around how AI is going to play a part within agency. One of the things that I'm most excited about is what's happening with voice AI, and how we can improve some of the call handling, lead management, tenant management, that kind of outbound and inbound calling. Now, I first started seeing demos of this voice AI probably around 12, 18 months ago now, and I was skeptical, because I was like, this is not great. This has got so much lag. This is obviously a bot. I would never recommend putting this into one of the agencies that I work with. A whole lot has changed in the last 18 months. And what I'm seeing now is mind-blowing, and the opportunities to be able to really increase our output. And for me, this isn't about replacing people. It's about giving your people the capacity to do what we need really good estate agents to do, and that's build relationships. Look for opportunities, have conversations, go out there, be in front of customers, knock on the door, all of those things that no AI is ever going to do. And I think that's where the real exciting things happen. The other thing for me is video. You won't be surprised to hear me say that after some of the content that you see me putting out recently. Video is huge, and there are some really impressive stats that are coming out now from video content, and actually how it's helping search as well. And I think we come back to the personal brand piece. Get yourself out there, get your face out there, make your people the hero. And I think it's scary when you first start doing video, because people think, oh God, I hate myself on camera. Spoiler alert, nobody likes themselves on camera. Just have to get over that. And I think my advice to anyone doing video is Start small, but make sure you do it consistently. There's nothing worse from a marketing perspective than if you do a flurry of activity because you're really excited about starting some video marketing, and then it falls down the to-do list again. So then you don't do anything for 3 or 4 weeks. My advice is set aside a day, do a load of video content in that day, meet the teams, walkthroughs, you on camera talking about the local area, whatever that might be. Film a load of content in a day, change your outfits every few videos, and then you've got loads of content that you can schedule, and then you can forget about it for another month. But I think if you're trying to build it into your everyday life while you're so busy and the phone's ringing off the hook and you've got completions happening and all of this, that and the other, it will fall down the to-do list. But make it a priority, because video absolutely will set you apart in your local area.
You may repeat the question, an answer that you've already given in this question, but it's my final question. So finally, if you could give one piece of frank advice to every estate agent listening right now, what would it be?
You need a plan.
You need a plan.
You need a strategy and a plan. Stop doing scattergun marketing, because you will get scattergun results.
Wicked. Kirsty, thank you so much for coming on the show. I'm very grateful for you taking the time out of the day, and thank you for all the advice.
Thank you for having me, Lee. Appreciate it.